Hello, my name is Randy Williams, proud member of Keiretsu Forum, also the founder and CEO. This is our second year of taping Keiretsu Forum Presents. You can find our past shows on YouTube and our future shows. Very proud to have Diana Ding, been a friend for the last 4 years. She has her own TV show, and we're going to be talking about the secrets and innovation of what's going on in Silicon Valley. But we're going to dive in on what are some of the waves. I think you're on the third wave, Diana, what you've seen the last decade of Chinese companies coming to Silicon Valley. Why? And what are they learning? So why don't you introduce yourself, Diana, and drill into your past. And you're an entrepreneur yourself, and you're going to be talking about entrepreneurs. So let's brag about you for a moment, about your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Randy, and thanks for having me on your show. Well, it's wonderful. You know, I used to interview you, and we used to went to China together to attend the Zhongguancun Forum, the biggest high-tech park in China. So it's really wonderful for all these years, and Ding TV has been a content and connection for global entrepreneurs, and we are the bridge and hub for China and the United States in the business world. So today, and we're talking about why Chinese companies coming to Silicon Valley. Well, talking about me, I came to this country in 2001. You know, for my American dream, and actually I follow my husband. Yeah, so we got married and I stayed here, and I feel, you know, it's amazing country here. It's an amazing place. No matter where you come from, no matter what's the background, what's the religions, and when you come to this country, gradually you adopt everything here. You kind of, you know, you feel so natural and so happy. I enjoy it.
Well, we'll talk about the freedom and talk about America in a moment, yes. But before the show started, we're talking about the three waves. So let's talk about wave 1, 2, and 3. Spend a little time, but we're really going to focus on the third wave right now, which I think is very interesting. So tell us about the waves.
Sure, yes. The first wave is about 20 years ago. The Chinese companies coming to Silicon Valley, they're looking for funding at that time. Actually, you know, some of the real high-tech companies and very good companies, but at that time they're looking for money. They come into Silicon Valley. And the second wave is about 10 years ago. And the Chinese companies, they come into Silicon Valley looking for talents. They're recruiting talents. They're inviting people going back to China and bring the technology to China. But right now, the third wave, many companies coming to the United States, especially to Silicon Valley, and they are learning and also they are investing. They brought their money here and they want to invest on those good companies. You know, I know many of them, they're not bringing the companies back to China. They're looking for the good startups and invest them here. And also, they build up their branch office in Silicon Valley, and they're willing to spend 2 or 3 years to settle down and learn about culture and immerse in this community.
I mean, that's fantastic. And I grew up here in Northern California. I have so much respect for people who leave, immerse themselves, and spend 1 to 2 years, or yourself, last, what, 25 years?
Last 17 years.
17 years.
Yes.
And so getting back to the phases here, or the waves, and the first wave is they needed capital. Second wave, they needed talent,
yes.
And possibly they want to take technology, as you said, back to China. Third wave, they're thinking global. Now they're looking for all those things, but they don't really need the money now. Is that what you're feeling?
That's exactly what's happening. You know, all these years, you know, because I left China for 17 years. And when I go back, especially to some of the big cities, I can hardly recognize. You know, first time we went back to Beijing, that was, you and me, was 1940. You know, 2013, yes. 2013, yes, that's right. So what's your impression at that time?
Well, fortunately, because everybody talks about the weather and the smog, but it rained several days. I just came from my Istanbul chapter, and it was absolutely gorgeous for 3 or 4 days. But my impression, because you invited me, and the government invited you to invite me to speak to the entrepreneurs at Z Park, which at that time, and I believe it still is, one of the largest incubators in the world.
Yes, that's right.
And correct my math, but I thought it was close to 20,000 entrepreneurs are in these parks.
200,000.
Now?
At that time already. Right now, even more.
We can't even think of those numbers. So my impression was there was obviously desire to learn, desire to gain knowledge, desire to act global, the desire to not only look at great technology out of China, but look at it here in the Valley, Silicon Valley, throughout the world. But I've always said, as I travel the world, and we, fortunately, at Keiretsu Forum have 52 locations globally, and we're seeing very interesting opportunities from Istanbul to Singapore to, we just opened Tokyo. I don't want to forget India, because I've had some of my Indian colleagues. In fact, if you look at some of the shows in the past, we talk about cross-border investing, you know, the trials, tribulations, and the great opportunities. But I feel we here don't think as global as everyone else in the world, because the world's here also. I mean, you've seen me at one of our events. We have a signature event called Angel Capital Expo.
Yes.
We're in our 25th biannual, and the next one's November 16th here in San Francisco. Hopefully you'll be my guest. But I always start the meeting with 400 of us there. How many languages are spoken out there? You know, the Indians stand up first. They have 6 to 7 languages. Chinese are speaking many languages, 3 or 4. And I'm the one on stage asking the question, 1. And so, you know, I do want to leave. I do want to venture throughout the world, but the world has come here. But I really admire, and there's something to be said, immersion. You mentioned the word immerse. So you feel the next wave of individuals are coming, not only they're coming with capital, maybe from their friends and family,
well,
or themselves.
Yes, themselves mostly.
Themselves, and they are actually immersing themselves. What does it mean, immerse? I mean, you're talking about being here for a couple years before they decide to do something?
Yes, that's you know, the trend I found. You know, this is really amazing. You know, not like before. You know, they want to, you know, push things and want to have the result. But right now, I see many of the big companies, the billion-dollar companies, they came to Silicon Valley because, you know, as a learner. You know, I talked to some of the entrepreneurs, and I would say enterprises, because Dingling TV is telling their stories and helping them to, you know, connect with the Silicon Valley network. So when I was talking to them, asking them, what are you looking for in Silicon Valley? You know, the first thing they always said, we are coming here to learn about the culture, learn about the secret of innovation. And I said, and what's the goal to achieve in next 5 or 6 years? They said, well, we want to make some friends and really understand the culture and looking for the technology, high tech, you know. So I think it's a change, also a good thing that so many people coming here, they're willing to really learn something.
Well, I'm hearing you, and so I'm hearing knowledge, I'm hearing obviously desire to learn, to immerse, to build relationships. Are they interested in controlling, or are they interested in partnering? They're interested in channels, or are they interested in acquisition, or just learning and then figuring out how to capitalize their own company?
I would say, you know, what you mentioned, I would say all of those things. And first of all, they really want to learn, and then learn how. Because I would say many companies came to United States 10 years ago. I would say more than half of them failed. Yeah, because of the cultural difference, because of the, you know, many of the things they don't understand. But right now, when they came back again, and some of the companies, when they failed, and they came back again. So they are quite brave, yeah.
We're going to keep the theme going here, but I'm going to flip it for a moment and say, okay, let's talk about companies going into China. They too have failed because they don't understand the culture.
Yes, that's right.
And so how can an American company think more global and truly interact with our Chinese friends and do business in China?
I think you are the expert, because you have so many branches all over the world. You probably noticed the cultural difference, like, you know, you work with people from all over the world. And what do you see the cultural difference especially?
The cultural difference where?
Which you know, Indian, like Turkish, like Chinese and Japanese. Okay.
I love to do business with people that think global. And because our DNA is the same, because we are thinking the same, and because a product that emerges from a great marketplace, whether it's in Beijing, Shanghai, or it's in Chennai or Mumbai, is if you're not thinking about what the competition is doing in Silicon Valley or Istanbul or Prague, I'm just naming locations where we are throughout the world, then you'll get crushed. And so whenever I invest, and we can talk about some of my investments have done very well and the ones that haven't. Usually the ones that haven't is they're not thinking global, because they will emerge and they might do very well in mainland China or here in America, but they'll get crushed because they're not thinking about what's going on throughout the world. And it's fascinating because you truly can't do a competitive matrix study when you're launching a company. You launch a company because you have, I call it the 3 Ps: passion, purpose, and a plan. And you really want to go with this great idea, but before you go with the idea, you should check. Just like I looked at a health science opportunity just today, and I asked them about the competition, and they go, well, they haven't done many studies on that. Even though you have a great dream, you have to think about what's going on globally through competition, because it's okay, the competition's out there. Either you compete with them, beat them, you partner with them, you license with them, or you think of another
The best
idea.
way is partner with them, I would say. You mentioned about 3 P, and plan, passion, and people.
And purpose.
Purpose, purpose. And I would add one more P. I would say people. People is the most important thing. You know, in the business world, it's all about relationship. Especially when you work with Chinese, you found that's interesting. You know, first of all, when you talk to them, they don't talk about business. They want to invite you to dinner, and they want to even get to know your family. They want to know your friends. They want to know what kind of person you are and who around you, and then to build up the trust. Well,
you were very kind. I made a keynote, as you said, but you also, the colleagues who are in charge of this large event took me out to karaoke.
Yes.
And so they wanted to see what I was like. They want to see if you can sing. And they found I couldn't. Yeah, you can. Yeah, actually, it doesn't matter if you sing well or not, but you are, you know, naturally a genuine person, so they like your personality. Well, you can sing too, and a lot of people don't know that. You're a wonderful singer. Okay, the 4 Ps now are passion, purpose, and a plan, and people. Yes. Ironically, I had lunch with my daughter today, and she's 28, just turned 28. We're talking about, you know, it's all about community. And so Keiretsu Forum is great association with quality deal flow. I didn't say it the other way. Association is community. And you have to have swarm intelligence. You have to have people around you trust, respect, and you learn from, and then your life's more enriched. So that is probably some symbolic and also that's a Chinese cultural thing. Yes, exactly. You know, I attend some of your Keiretsu Forum event, which is really nice. And you know, the one thing I like most is each time I went to your event, and you know, you feel you are warmly welcomed. That's very important. You know, people attend that, and you know, you say, "Oh, please stand and introduce yourself," and everybody, they feel like a big family. That's so important. And also, we are the organizer of Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs Festival and co-host of the Silicon Valley Capital Global Capital Summit with F50. Yes, that was F50. That's right. 2 weeks ago. So each time, you know, we are open to work with any different groups. And when you're working with people, and first of all is trust and respect. When you respect the person and trust the person, it makes things way easier. Yeah. Well, as an entrepreneur, you've launched your TV program. This is what, your 8th year? Yes, it's here. It's here. And so take us through the trials, tribulations, and where you're at today, and where you started with your first year. That's really a long story to tell, but make that short. You know, when I first started, and we start with $3,000 US, only me by myself. And you know, we don't know what to do. We don't know the business plan. We don't have a team. But you know, after this 8 years, and we built up our team here and also team in China, and you know, we have worked with, I would say, more than 200 startups, and we have got involved and covered more than 2,000 events and create 20,000 contents. So you know, it's tremendous, you know, connecting with people. So I feel, you know, we are so passionate about connecting dreams. And so back then, you streamed. And now, today, how many individuals are watching or participating in your shows? That's, you know, amazing. You know, we work with many of the media partners here and also in China. And our show in China covers 200 million audience there.
That's amazing.
So you're famous in China and here.
Well, you know, that's why this brings us so many opportunities. People coming to Silicon Valley, they want to come to us. They say, well, where's Ding TV? Where's Diana Ding? They came to us. They want to talk, and we want to, mostly they want to connect with the people.
Yeah, so you believe in the power of media.
Yes, I believe the power of the media. And I also believe what you are doing here, because I know that, you know, you're super busy people. You still, you know, spend your time creating content like this. And so what do you want to share with people? What influence you want to spread out?
Well, getting back to that question, this is our second year, and I think the true measure of success is sharing. You know, having open access and enjoying what I call swarm intelligence and mind share. And I am blessed to encounter very, very smarter people than myself, but on a daily basis and that's what's so wonderful about this area, Northern California, where we all live. I mean, there is intrigue, there is content, there is the ecosystem of innovation. It's all right here. And it takes, I think, anybody that is trying to get started is that you just have to immerse yourself. We used that word a couple times, but you truly have to receive. And yeah, I know it's easy to say learn and, you know, and all that, but you have to receive the knowledge. And because everybody's different, you know, you may receive the knowledge by somebody that's, you know, maybe your teacher, but you know, receive knowledge. You know, like for instance, interns intern for Keiretsu Forum. They think they're learning from me. I'm learning from them.
Yes. When you see the words receive, I really like the words receive, because receive means, you know, not only you see things, but I also adapt to yourself, and you have deep thinking, and then receive this, become your own knowledge.
Right.
Yes. So it's so wonderful. You know, each time I talk to you, and we always come out some great ideas.
So I will be in Korea next week, speaking at a large event. And what is going on right now with Korea, with China, with Japan? Is everybody getting along?
Well, I would say, you know, doesn't matter what the politicians think, but people always getting along very well.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a Korean friend, I have a Japanese friend, Indian friend. You know, I really like the culture, especially, you know, I kind of really appreciate the difference. When you see the difference and you are kind of, you know, want to learn and so excited, want to find out why, then when you learn is, you know, always, you know, good for me. So for me, you know, I'm open with all kinds of different cultures.
That's powerful. I love it. And so whoever's watching this, you know, be careful of what you read in the paper, and also be careful what politicians tell you. But it's all about getting back to what you said.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for entrepreneurs, I would say the people who's in this world, they are the different kind of people. They are more brave. They're more open. They're more willing to learn.
Okay, so the three waves. So you're saying the third wave is capital's here. You feel a lot of Chinese entrepreneurs or companies here have capital, and they're here to maybe partner, here to learn, here to immerse, but where are they going to go 2 years from now? Are they going to go back and execute their business, or are they going to be global, execute around the world?
I would say, you know, when I talking to those people, and it seems that they have, most of them are planned to stay here for a long term. So, you know, some of them purchased their house here, and they rent their office here, and they even hired their employees here. So it seems that they planned for, you know, long term develop in this community.
We also invest in real estate at Keiretsu. Of our 1,200 fundings, probably 20% are real estate related. So we enjoy rolling the dice of many things, from LED lighting to women's clothes to water, and also deep technology.
I tell you a funny story. You know, I have a friend, Chinese enterprise, and a lady, a very successful lady, and she told me on WeChat. She said, "Well, I purchased a house in Silicon Valley." I said, "Well, I thought you were in China." She said, "I just did yesterday." I said, "I thought you were in China." She said, "Yes, but I did that on the phone." I said, "Have you ever seen the house?" She said, "I saw the pictures." I said, "How much is that?" He said, $5 million. I said, "You crazy? You never saw the place and you just invest on
Isn't that amazing?
Is that, well, I would say that's you will see they make decisions so quick, and
Yes.
that's really shocked me.
My question, you may not know much about EB5, but on the real estate side, we've seen a lot of EB5 money come into America, and some of it's been, it's been very positive. It's created jobs, and for every $500,000 invested, create 10 jobs, you'll get the opportunity possibly for a green card.
Yes,
so
go ahead. Yes,
have you studied the success or lack of success of this program, or is it?
Yeah, personally, I haven't studied about that, and we are not doing that. But I feel that some of that was something happened, I would say, 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But nowadays, when I see those Chinese entrepreneurs, they are more cautious, I would say, more careful and more cautious. But regarding to the high-tech companies, that's something they're really interested.
Why?
I think one reason is they are looking for some of the big companies in China. They are already very big, and they are looking for some other market. They also, some of the companies, they're getting into the bottleneck. They're looking for new technologies, and also they are thinking about going global. Yes, the market.
And do you think China is being fair in regards to some of our companies? And and again, this is a very.
I would say there never a fair. Well, when you're looking for the fair, it's not fair anywhere.
Ah, interesting. So Baidu, has a platform to be really successful, but Google, was restricted for a while. So you think there's elements of not fairness around the world.
I think they are always like this, when the big companies in China, they have their own agenda and also the government issues. I haven't do any research on that, so I have no position to talk about that. But I feel, the global market is not fair. Every, different places, they always want to protect their own companies. The local, entrepreneurs, always like that. So that's why, we need to talk to them, so people with the communication and understand the issue and to work together.
Okay, so let's say that someone that has capital comes to America, whether they come from Hungary or Istanbul or, China. How do we work with the Chinese?
Making friends first, especially for Chinese people. First of all, you become their friends. And when they trust you, then everything will become much easier. So first of all is making friends. And
do you think that Americans rush into partnerships too quickly?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, no, but I've been staying here for 17 years, and I like the American culture. They're very direct, right to the point. But when you work with China and talking to China business people, you don't see that, that direct compared with here.
Okay. And so I'm going to ask you to name the top 3 things that happened on your show the last 7 years. What have you learned? Who have you interviewed that's been intriguing, that inspiring, that obviously your constituents, the people throughout China and America have seen some of your shows. What's been the most inspiring?
Well, thank you. And I interviewed the president from Geju Business School, and I
President from
Geju, Geju means vision, and they have a business school, and what they do is they have the classrooms all around China. They have more than 100 classrooms. So, when we broadcast, when we do the show, and we at the same time broadcasting.
Did you introduce me to this gentleman? The first day in China?
Yeah, no, that's not the one. Yeah, that's not the one. But I'm going to introduce you to him.
Okay, so there's 100 classrooms?
Yeah, 100 classrooms with more than 10,000 enterprises and entrepreneurs. And, each week they spend time to learn. And what they want to learn is about the culture and also how to behave, and how to be a better person, how to build a good family. This is truly amazing. You don't see this before. So
I'm confused. So want to learn Chinese culture or American culture?
American culture.
100 schools in America, in China, and they're teaching things about culture.
They're teaching things about culture for these entrepreneurs.
So my daughter, who's 28, could have a job going to China talking about culture.
Wow, then she will be a good teacher. Yes, that's wonderful. Yes,
Yeah.
And actually, we have the system at our studio, so we broadcast to them each time. We invite speakers there, and they talk to thousands Chinese business leaders at our studio, and they interact real time. I see this trend, and I think that's truly amazing, because nowadays, not like before, they always think about money, work so hard day and night, but now they slow down and they want to learn what's going on in the whole world, in the Western world, and how to be a better person, a good person to the community.
So I was in Europe last week, 2 weeks ago with my wife. We were in 5 different countries, and there is a, speaking of learning, we saw hundreds of Chinese. So they're traveling the world. It's just not America. So they're learning culture globally.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one. Name a couple more.
Well, another thing is, I just interviewed some entrepreneurs. Actually, someone started the company here in United States. I think that's a job searching website. They become the top 10 in whole United States. So, when I talked to that person, the founder, and he was an engineer, and he told me, that was an amazing story. He said, well, I was working in the high-tech company in Silicon Valley before, and as an engineer. But when I see myself, my English is not so good, and my personality is not so outgoing, and I can almost see after 10 or 20 years, I will still be an engineer, maybe with more salary. So I jump out and start my own company. Right now, his company, they're really huge. His employee is more than 1,000. So I can see, when they have the courage, and even though their English is not so good, but they're doing a very good job.
Yes. So courage is very important.
Yes.
To really, have the courage and to think highly of yourself. And I see a lot of cultures are, too timid, and so be brave. So we have 1 more minute. Any questions of me, how we can work more together, how we can enjoy more Chinese companies coming to America, that we can possibly collaborate?
Yeah, let me ask you this question. You are a very busy people. Would you like to spend more time to talking to those people and making friends? Will you do that?
Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. Then there you go.
Yes.
Yes.
And because getting back to lunch with my daughter today, we're talking about what really, is our, the 3 Ps, and you said 4: purpose, passion, plan, and people. And she really, we all need people, at least most of us do. My wife and I do, my daughter, my son, and that's what, and I think getting back to what I termed Keiretsu Forum 18 years ago, great association with quality deal flow. Elevate your game, always elevate yourself, have great association, always interact with great people. As we travel the world and learn more, myself as an investor, because I've made 54 investments at Keiretsu, I'm always learning how to be better at being a better investor, and also hopefully giving knowledge back. But this show has lasted 30 minutes, and we have to conclude now. But it's been fantastic, Diana Ding. Thank you so much for coming. See you next month. Keiretsu Forum presents. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Randy, and thank you, audience.